was in 2000, I want to say 2011, but maybe it was early 2012 by that time. I was doing genealogical research, and I went to Lummi Nation, and I went to basically to try to access tribal archives, tribal records. And they were very nice. They talked to me. I was a tribal member. I said, no, not a tribal member. And they said, well, then technically, legally, we can't allow you to access these things. And I said, okay. But I'd come all the way. I was living in Taiwan at the time. I was back in the States. I rented a car, gone all the way up to Lummi from the airport in Seattle. And so I said, okay, I understand you can't let me in the archives. Who do you know that will maybe know some of these things? Who do you know that knows history here? Maybe I can talk to them. Maybe I can't get in the archives, but maybe they'll be willing to talk to me. And they were really nice. I said, yeah, that's a good idea. Gave me several names. I said, all right, thank you. Who would you recommend going to first? Like, there's a lot of names here. Who would you go talk to first? And I said, well, go talk to Sharon Kinley, because she's, it's like a mile or less down the road at the college here. So go talk to her, just because she's right here. And I said, all right. Drove my ridiculous, Dodge wannabe retro muscle car they'd rented me down to the college, parked it, and went in. This time, the Coast Salish Institute had not been built yet. Sharon's office was in the old library. So I went in there and I talked to her, out of the blue. She's sitting there doing her work in the middle of the day, and this, guy comes walking in. And I don't know, maybe it was 5 minutes, maybe it was 10 minutes. It was very quickly after introduction. She knew that we were related. And she was able to tell me a number of things that day that I didn't know. I knew this piece, but I didn't know the piece between this piece and this piece. She was able to fill things in. I mean, she told me we're related. That was a big revelation. She told me that day where we would have lived prior to being forced onto the Lummi Reservation, like where my family was at that time. Introduced me to her daughter, Lexi, who came by. And it just amazed me, really. Imagine someone walks into your office or stops by your home and you don't know them. And you don't have all your genealogical papers right there, but out of your head, you know enough to go, we're related. I love that. And, years later, working there, I was sitting talking to Brandon Morris. Sharon walks by and she says, you two are related. We said, oh, we didn't know. We still need to figure out exactly how. Another time, talking to Kateri Hilaire, and Sharon says, you two are related. It just amazes me, the having all that in your head and being able to pull it out. Because I have a lot of things on paper, and if I sit and look at my paper, I could tell you many things. But to pull it all out of your head like that, just so easy. And I've thought about that a lot in the time since, and what that means about being an Indigenous person. It speaks to the importance of the individual in the web of all the people, all those connections. And it's not to disrespect the individual, but it's to balance the individual and the greater connection. Is the way I've understood it. And I think it's a really valuable perspective when we see ourselves as individuals making our own choices, pursuing our own goals, competing with each other. It becomes pretty easy to do things that are pretty horrible because it's just about me. And if it gets me ahead, if it makes me happy, happy in the short term, that's fine. It doesn't make a person a sociopath, but it's a step towards that, because it disconnects us one from another. And in that disconnection, the importance of other people, the importance of other beings, the importance of the land, the water, that's reduced because the individual is elevated out of that relationship and those webs of relationship.